Bowling Green's classic rock, D93. It is the Tony Rose Morning Show on your Monday morning, and we are so excited to be joined at this time by one of the most legendary actors in all of Hollywood. Let me run down some of these movies for you here, man. Of course, The Bodyguard from 92, For the Love of the Game, JFK, Tin Cup, A Perfect World, one of my favorites, under the radar for this guy. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, in there as well. A movie called Bull Durham from 1988, and one of my all-time favorite movies, Field of Dreams from 1989. He, of course, is the star of Yellowstone on the Paramount Network, which has new episodes starting this weekend on Father's Day night, actually. Season 3 premieres. We are joined by the legendary actor, the one and only Kevin Costner, on the show right now. Good morning, Kevin. How are you doing?
Good morning, Tony.
When you hear that list of movies, do you still kind of go like, what a great life it is to live? I mean, what a resume that you have of movies that you've brought to us, and now television show as well. It's an honor to have you on. But of those movies, to know they still have the impact they do, what does that mean to you?
Well, I tell you what, sometimes you have to look back at the breadcrumbs of your life and you figure, how in the world did this happen? And I do that. There was a moment in time where I was just trying to find a yellow brick road, when I'm 18, 19, 20 years old and everybody asking what you're going to do, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? And you want to look at it and say, I don't know, man, I don't know. You got to give me a chance to find the heartbeat of my life. And, I was going down the same paths as a lot of people, and when I stopped and realized that was the moment where I took control of my life, and then I hear you kind of spiel off those things, you realize that, people go, well, what was the big moment in your life? And somebody's going to look at movies, they're going to look at the Academy Awards, they're going to look at a lot of things. But the biggest moment in my life is when I decided to take control of it. I was raised in a very conservative way, which served me really, really well. But there's also a moment where that kind of conservatism can kind of hold you back. You're kind of fearful. What are you going to do? And so when I hear that, I kind of smile, but it takes me back to a day that no one knows about when I kind of said, you're in control, and you're going to wake up and be really sad about who you are unless you kind of take the bites out of the apple that you feel like are in front of you.
You've given us amazing movies, and of course, Field of Dreams. It's in my top 2 or 3 movies of all time, and it is about the baseball, and it is about the story being told and the relationship that you have, with James Earl Jones in that movie. But that final scene where you're having a catch with Dad, at the end of Field of Dreams, that is a moment that I'm 43 years old. It brings a tear to my eye every time I see it, and I know you hear that story a lot. You've created moments in your movies that stick with people for a lifetime, and you bring so much joy with those moments. As fans, I guess it's a thank you that we owe you. So thank you. I mean, it really means a lot. I mean, it's incredible stuff. But to know you've made movies that have changed lives.
It's a healthy relationship. I don't make one without the idea that I know, people are going to look at it, and I know that when I start it, if it has the bones of greatness, I really feel like, that's the idea that this can be moments you never forget. Too often movies aren't. You have to work really hard at that, and you have to believe in that relationship with an audience. And when I feel like there's that chance, I really go after a movie like Red Meat. It's like, no, this is going to be for people long after, people I never ever meet. And when I go to work that morning to do particularly that scene, or any other scene, I go, this is the moment right now. I have to put everything into what I'm doing. And for me, that means, weeks and months before, thinking about how that scene can really be. And that little movie, Field of Dreams, boils down without a fist fight, without a car wreck, without a love scene, without anything, has seared its way into America's heart by just saying you want to have a catch. So that's possible. So anything you do, out there just has a chance to affect people. And you do it with music, you do it with your movies. And I kind of look at the opportunity to have an exchange with an audience when I decide to do something. I know it's an honest, it's an honest moment.
Well, just real quick, too, I know he's not really the bad guy, but he is in a way. Timothy Busfield, it's his birthday today, so don't forget to send him a nice message or something. Yeah, throw it in there. If there is one actor that we connect to Father's Day, whether it's Field of Dreams, it's got to be Kevin Costner, and that's very important. This week is this coming Father's Day as well, because season 3 of Yellowstone premieres on the Paramount Network, and my goodness gracious, you guys are raising the bar in this season already, just from the trailers, just from the previews. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come at us real quick in season 3.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this big old melodrama, but it's set, in the Bitterroot Valley where Lewis and Clark went down, and the writing has been really great, and it's kind of big fun. It goes to a lot of places no one thought it was going to go to. And it's just, it's out there, and I'm really happy that people are enjoying it. I mean, for me to be able to wake up and do that stuff, it's pretty great.
What kind of challenge is it taking on a television show like this, an episodic show now over multiple seasons, versus being on a movie set for weeks at a time? What is that challenge? What are the differences to you? And I guess it's a healthy challenge in a way too, right?
It's good to have a job, and it's good to have this one, and we've thought about it long before we decided to do it. There are challenges, but it's like anything, it's just every day is long, and but kind of the work you do that day is forever too. You have to really kind of think about that. You just can't go into work lazy. You can get away with it, but there's a moment each and every time to kind of make a move, lift an eyebrow, take a step back. That kind of, I for as much as women like the movies that I've done, I actually make the movies I make for men. I want men to be able to identify with the characters that I've done. The fact that women have enjoyed them is probably a function that I don't do movies that don't have great women characters. But, that's what I actually do.
And of course, you on the musical side as well with Modern West, you have a companion, almost like a companion soundtrack to this season of Yellowstone, Tales from Yellowstone, which is available a couple of days before the new season. You guys are going to have that out on the 19th. This is a really good album you guys have put out as well.
Yeah, well, it's a concept record. I did it before with the Hatfield and McCoys. It was a record called Famous for Killing. So if you've never heard it, you might really like it. It's real Appalachian. It just had to do with all the characters, the darkness of it, and what I was feeling. And my band contributed, and we did the same thing. So you're kind of right. This is a concept record. Every song on there is really about how I was feeling while I was making Yellowstone, or it's about the characters. Won't Stop Loving You. That's really a song. About my wife who's died, and so I used the band really pitches in to kind of just help me get to thinking about what the work I'm doing. So this is all about Yellowstone. So they're not just random songs. They're about the characters. Better Let Somebody Love You is about Beth. And so. Poison in My Heart. John has difficulty. Land I Call Home. I sang that a cappella. But that's a guy who's kind of unrepentant. And so if you've liked the show, if you like, I don't know, that's what I do. My band, Modern West, we make music.
And one song, it's not on this one, but it's on a previous release you guys have, but I think it's very appropriate for the world that we are living in now with this new normal. It's a song you have called The Sun Will Rise Again. Could you quickly just talk about that? And I encourage people to go listen to it because it really hits home in the world we are today.
Yeah, in America, we wake up sometimes and we turn our TVs on and you wake up and Katrina has just taken the South. And people are underwater, and tornadoes, the whole kind of thing, and we kind of wrote about those moments because there's where's the hope, and what's just happened to to the people. And, and now we wake up, and it's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
It's happened to all of us around the world, and people just don't know how they're going to recover. And, there's not a lot to say to people, and I kind of, but kind of out of that, we wrote a song about the feeling of helplessness, about ultimately we have to go to a place where all human beings have to go to, which is the sun's going to rise, and we're going to have to help each other. We're going to have to help ourselves, and sometimes we don't know where that help's coming from. And if you're religious, you have a really good idea where it's coming from. If you're not, but we're all dependent on each other, and so we just kind of re-released it. What happened in my own community, there was a giant fire, there were big floods, people lost their lives. We went and raised money, and I played that song, and somebody said, why don't you send that song out again? Just let people hear it, and that's what Sun Will Rise Again is about.
Kevin Costner, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the work you've given us, and you continue to give us on Yellowstone and all the other projects. Just continue. Best of luck. Best of health to you and your family as always. And we would love to have you back on again sometime soon. But we'll be watching on Father's Day for the